So, Dr. Umar Johnson speaks on the black on black gender war. Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I have another clip of Dr. Umar, the interview that Dr. Umar Johnson did on the Ari Not Sorry Show. In this particular clip, Dr. Umar Johnson basically gave his view on this alleged black on black gender war that's happening between black men and black women.
All this back and forth, black on black, male female gender war. I hate it, bro. I hate it because first of all, they selling homosexuality to the kids. So you mean to tell me why they trying to push our kids into these non-traditional lives?
Yeah.
We gonna argue and tear each other down on social media? Think about it, you're a 10-year-old black kid, right? The schools keep selling you gay sex all day long. And then you go online and look for some examples of some healthy black relationships, and everybody fighting, everybody cheating, everybody getting divorced. Black men telling the whole world we don't care about black women. Black women telling the whole world we don't need y'all no good. Who does? You ain't that. When you ever see a Chinese on the internet ridiculing and putting down Chinese women? We the only ones who do that. That is so unmasculine, man. Any black man who does that, I can't consider him a man. We can have them conversations behind closed doors, but to tell the world you don't want your woman when your mother is one.
What he's talking about here is not a race thing. This is not a race thing. This is a gender thing that was started by feminists with all the cries of equality this, equality that, wanting to be equal with men. You know, and it's really gotten bad ever since third wave feminism. It's just going way too far right now. Way too far. And men are starting to lash back against this. But it's not about race. It's not black men lashing out against it. It's men in general have been lashing out against it, which is basically today known as red pill. Now, wokeness is selling homosexuals to all children, not just the black kids. So why is he focusing on race? Well, because he's a race hustler, of course, but every time anyone diverts something to race that has nothing to do with race, you're basically diluting any possible response. The response to this should be, we don't want homosexuality in our schools in general. Not, we don't want homosexuality to preach to black kids. Just get it out of, just get the agenda, woke agenda out of schools to begin with, and it will be without pushing it forward to any kids. And that, I say, all adults should be speaking up on getting this not woke nonsense out of schools. It's a lot more effective. You'll be a lot more effective if we remove it all than for him to sit here and try to tiptoe around what's being done to black kids. That's just stupid. But what do you expect from an idiot, though? Anyway, now, as far as this war between black and women, the war's been going on since the late 80s, as far back as I remember. I remember, you know, the whole black man ain't shit narrative since back then. So black women have been tearing down black men on in TV shows and on these talk shows. You know, Kevin Samuels repeatedly spoke on this, how black men were being torn down, as he say, and degraded on these shows. Black men ain't shit. Black men don't take care of the kids. You know, it was a narrative that was also put in movies and sitcoms and stuff like that. And me personally, I never was offended by that, because I was never a hit dog. When they talked about black men don't take care of the kids, or I never had any kids that I wanted taken care of. Black men don't have any jobs, all this stuff. Well, I had a job, so I never was offended by this because I wasn't a hit dog. But yet it happened though. And today, black men have a voice, and this supposedly war that he's talking about is now black men having a voice and black men speaking up. Now, as far as him saying that we're saying that we don't need each other as black people, you say, is it black men who are claiming to be strong and independent and have been claiming to be strong and independent the last 30-something years? No, it's black women. So black women, once again, black women have started all this. And the response to black men is from black men is just red pill. Again, this is not a gender thing. This is a red pill thing. I mean, a race thing. This is a gender thing, and red pill is a response to that from men. Okay, red pill is a response to modern society, and all men are doing is responding to that. But black men are responding to this, and how they react to black females, because black females have been some of the most aggressive mouths in promoting this nonsense. Again, all of this strong, independent foolishness that they've been pushing, we supposed to hear this coming louder from black females. So, all this is just, as I said, black men now having a voice today that we didn't have, and black men have been using that voice to speak the truth. Now, as I agree with him when it comes down to the Chinese, right? You don't see Chinese men, quote unquote, with the war with their females. That's true. However, Chinese women were not participating in the Chinese men ain't shit narrative for the last 40 years. Okay, you didn't see Chinese women or Asian women in general on talk shows saying that their men ain't shit, but like black women have been done. So they don't have to fight against something, as she said. They don't have to fight against with Chinese women, because Chinese women aren't the ones that's out here putting themselves out there, degrading themselves. You don't. Where's the Chinese version of Basketball Wives? Right? Where's the Chinese version of the housewives of this, housewives of that city? It doesn't exist. They're not out there putting themselves out there to denigrate themselves and make themselves look bad that we see black women are doing. Now, in closing, this quote-unquote black gender war is actually very needed. And as I said, this is just men who have gotten a microphone, who've gotten a voice for finally. And what we see is a correction. This war between black men and black women is a correction. This is a correction that's basically what the black community needs. This is a correction of the problems in the black community. And this is men saying, okay, you want to be strong and independent? Go ahead. But don't be looking at me when you know what hits the fan. And that's what black men are saying. This is exactly what the black community needs. And I'm all for it. Anybody who claims to be for the black community should also be for this. But the reason why he's against it is because he's not for the black community. He's for race hustling. He's just another race hustler who's trying to profit off the backs of blacks, still opening a damn school, living, like I said, living out of hotels and all this other stuff. He's not trying to help the black community. Anyway, y'all, like I said, that's my 2 cents on this. This is more evidence that Dr. Umar Johnson is just a straight damn fool. And as always, y'all, until next time.